But then we also heard about these 14 planetary systems, starting from Brahmaloka all the way down to Patala Loka. So there is some confusion which one is what. So here I found some article from ISKCON Truth, but this is based on the 5th canto, where there's a detailed description given about all these different planetary systems. When you go there, we'll read that, but I just wanted to bring it up here so that this discussion is clear. So these are the 14 planetary systems from Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swarloka, Bhur, and Bhuva and Bhu. And then these are the lower planetary systems here: Atala, Bitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. So when Prabhupada refers to the three worlds, so the Swarga Loka, he one collectively means these upper planetary systems. These 6 upper planetary systems from Bhuvar Loka to Satya Loka, they are sometimes referred to as just the Swarga Loka. And then the Martya Loka is the Bhur Loka, that's the earthly planets. And then the lower 7 planets, they are collectively referred to as Patala Loka. Though there is one planetary system called Patala itself, that's the lowest one, but sometimes all these 7 also referred to as Patala Loka. Okay, so that's the distinction. And then in which planetary system who lives and so on, so that the detailed description is given in the 5th canto. When we go there, we'll read like Satyaloka, that's the Brahma's residence. And then Tapaloka, all the great sages who do a lot of austerities, they go there. Then Janaloka, again, all the one who performs a lot of pious activities, they go to Janaloka. Then Maharloka, then Sorloka is the one that's the planet of Indra. That's called Amaravati, where Lord Indra and all the 330 million demigods, they live there in Sorgaloka. And then in Bhuvar Loka also there are some higher beings like the Gandharva, Charanas, Kinnaras. They all live in the Bhuvar Loka. And then Bhur Loka is the earthly planets, where like people like us were predominantly mode of passion and in ignorance, they live here. And then the lower planetary system, these are the ones for the demons, like for the Rakshasas, and then for the Asuras, and all those and living entities who are predominantly mode of ignorance. They live in these lower planetary systems. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that, since I found this information, wanted to share with you. Okay, so let me close that, and let's go to our let's see if I can share the other screen here. Okay, Prabhu, can you see the other screen now, by the way?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So yesterday we read up to verse number 28, I believe. So today we'll start from 29. तमेवान्योऽपि धीयन्ते लोकभूरादयस्त्रयः निशायाम् अनुवृत्तायां निर्मुक्तशशिभास्करम्. When the night of Brahma ensues, all the 3 worlds are out of sight, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in the due course of an ordinary night. Purport. It is understood that the glare of the sun and moon disappear from the sphere of the 3 worlds, but the sun and the moon themselves do not vanish. They appear in the remaining portion of the universe, which is beyond the sphere of the 3 worlds. The portion in dissolution remains without sun rays or moon glow. It all remains dark and full of water, and there are indefatigable winds, as explained in the following verses. Text 30. Trilokyam daihamanayam saktya sankarsanagnina yantyusmana maharloka janam yanti usmana maharlokas janam bhrugvadayorditaha. The devastation takes place due to the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarsana, and thus great sages like Vrigu and other inhabitants of Maharloka transport themselves to Janaloka, being distressed by the warmth of the blazing fire which rages throughout the 3 worlds below. So again here, by the 3 worlds below, it refers to part of the upper planetary system up to the Swargaloka, and then below that. So the residents above Swargaloka, so they like in the Maharloka, they go to the Janaloka. They transport themselves to even this higher planetary systems, to save themselves from this devastating fire, which happens at the end of Brahma's day. Number 31. Tabat tribhuvanam sadyah kalpante dhita sindhavah प्लावयन्त्युत्कटाटोप चण्डवातेरितोर्मयः. At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow, and hurricane winds blow very violently. Thus, the waves of the seas become ferocious, and in no time at all, the three worlds are full of water. Purport. It is said that the blazing fire from the mouth of Sankarsana rages for 100 years of the demigods, or 36,000 human years. Then, for another 36,000 years, there are torrents of rain accompanied by violent winds and waves, and the seas and oceans overflow. These reactions of 72,000 years at the beginning of the partial devastation of the three worlds. People forget all these devastations of the worlds and think themselves happy in the material progress of civilization. This is called Maya, or that which is not. It's very beautifully explained here. Like so we are so we are in like kind of oblivion, and we think that this world is a happy place, but yeah, but when we read about all these different incidents that happen at the end of each Brahma's day, then we can understand like how miserable place this is, or how terrifying place this is actually. Number 32. अन्तः स तस्मिन् सलिल आस्तेऽनन्ताशनो हरिः योगनिद्रानिमीलाक्ष स्तूयमानो जनालैः. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, lies down in the water on the seat of Ananta with his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of the Janaloka planets offer unto the Lord their glorious prayers with folded hands. Purport. We should not understand the sleeping condition of the Lord to be the same as our sleep. Here, the word Yoga Nidra is specifically mentioned, which indicates that the Lord's sleeping condition is also a manifestation of his internal potency. Whenever the word yoga is used, it should be understood to refer to that which is transcendental. In the transcendental stage, all activities are always present, and they are glorified by prayers of great sages like Bhrigu. 33. एवं विधेर अहोरात्रे कालगत्योपलक्षितैः अपक्षितमिवास्यापि परमायुर्भयशतम्. Thus, the process of the exhaustion of the duration of life exists for every one of the living beings, including Lord Brahma. One's life endures for only 100 years in terms of the times in the different planets. Purport. Every living being lives for 100 years in terms of the times in different planets for different entities. These 100 years of life are not equal in every case. The longest duration of 100 years belongs to Brahma, but although the life of Brahma is very long, it expires in that course of time. Brahma is also afraid of his death, and thus he performs devotional service to the Lord, just to release himself from the clutches of illusory energy. Animals, of course, have no sense of responsibility, but even humans who have developed a sense of responsibility while away, uh, while away their valuable time without engaging in devotional service to the Lord, they live merrily unafraid of impending death. This is the madness of human society. The madman has no responsibility in life. Similarly, a human being who does not develop a sense of responsibility before he dies is no better than the madman who tries to enjoy material life very happily without concern for the future. It is necessary that every human being be responsible in preparing himself for the next life, even if he has a duration of life like that of Brahma, the greatest of all living creatures within the universe. So from here we understand that even Brahma, who is the highest, like the topmost living entity in this material universe, so when he has to be afraid of his death, his lifetime is very long, but still it is temporary. It is not eternal life, and he also has to do devotional service to release himself from this cycle of birth and death. And what to speak of us who have very short duration of lifespan. So the important point here is that that one has to engage in devotional service if one wants to be released from this cycle of birth and death. Number 34. Yad ardham ayusha tasya parardharma vidhiyate purva parardhapa kranto yaparotya pravartate. The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. Purport. The duration of 100 years in the life of Brahma has already been discussed in many places in this work, and it is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.17 also. 50 years of the life of Brahma are already over, and 50 years are yet to be completed. Then, for Brahma also, death is inevitable. Number 35. पूर्वस्यादो परार्धस्य ब्राह्मो नाम महानभूत् कल्पो यद्रा भवद्ब्रह्मा शब्दब्रह्मेति यं विदुः. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahmakalpa, wherein Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Purport. According to Padma Purana, Prabhasa Khanda, in 30 days of Brahma, many kalpas take place, such as the Baraha Kalpa and Pitru Kalpa. 30 days make 1 month of Brahma, beginning from the full moon to the disappearance of the moon. 12 such months complete 1 year, and 50 years complete 1 Parardha, or 1/2 the duration of the life of Brahma. The Sveta Varaha appearance of the Lord is the first birthday of Brahma. The birth date of Brahma is in the month of March according to Hindu astronomical calculation. This statement is reproduced from the explanation of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Number 36. Tasseva chante kalpo bhut yam padmam abhichakshate yadharirnabhisarasa asilloka saroruham. The millennium which followed the first Brahma millennium is known as the Padma Kalpa because in that millennium the universal lotus flower grew out of the navel reservoir of water of the personality of Godhead, Hari. Purport. The millennium following the Brahma Kalpa is known as the Padma Kalpa because the universal lotus grows in that millennium. The Padma Kalpa is also called the Pitru Kalpa in certain Puranas. 37. अयं तु कथितः कल्पो द्वितीयस्यापि भारत बाराः इति विख्यातो यत्रासिच्छुकरो हरिः. O descendant of Bharata, the first millennium in the second half of the life of Brahma is also known as the Baraha millennium because the personality of Godhead appeared in that millennium as the hog incarnation. Purport. The different millenniums known as the Brahma, Padma, and Baraha kalpas appeared a little puzzling for the layman. There are some scholars who think these kalpas to be one and the same. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the Brahma kalpa in the beginning of the first half appears to be the Padma kalpa. We can, however, simply abide by the text and understand that the present millennium is in the second half of the duration of the life of Brahma. So there's a lot of information here about all these different kalpas and so on. So sometimes it's really confusing. Number 38. कालोऽयं द्विपरार्धाक्षो निमेष उपचर्यते अव्याकृतस्यानन्तस्य ह्यानादेर्जगदात्मनः. The duration of the two parts of Brahma's life, as above mentioned, is calculated to be equal to 1 nimesha, less than a second, for the personality of Godhead, who is unchanging and unlimited and is the cause of all causes of the universe. Purport. The great sage Maitreya has given a considerable description of the time of different dimensions, beginning from the atom up to the duration of the life of Brahma. Now he attempts to give some idea of the time of the unlimited personality of Godhead. He just gives a hint of his unlimited time by the standard of the life of Brahma. The entire duration of the life of Brahma is calculated to be less than a second of the Lord's time, and it is explained in the Brahma Samhita 548 as follows. यस्यैकनिःश्वसितकालम् अथावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमबिलजा जगदण्डनाथाः विष्णुर्महान् सह्य यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, whose plenary person is Mahavishnu. All the heads of the innumerable universes, the Brahmas, live only by taking shelter of the time occupied by one of his breaths. The impersonalists do not believe in the form of the Lord, and thus they would hardly believe in the Lord's sleeping. Their idea is obtained by a poor fund of knowledge. They calculate everything in terms of man's capacity. They think that the existence of the Supreme is just the opposite of active human existence. Because the human being has senses, the Supreme must be without sense perception. Because the human being has a form, the Supreme must be formless. And because the human being sleeps, the Supreme must not sleep. Srimad Bhagavatam, however, does not agree with such impersonalists. It is clearly stated herein that the Supreme Lord rests in Yoga Nidra, as previously discussed. And because he sleeps, naturally he must breathe. And the Brahma Samhita confirms that within his breathing period, innumerable Brahmas take birth and die. There is complete agreement between Srimad Bhagavatam and the Brahma Samhita. Eternal time is never lost along with the life of Brahma. It continues, but it has no ability to control the Supreme Personality of Godhead because the Lord is the controller of time. In the spiritual world, there is undoubtedly time, but it has no control over activities. Time is unlimited, and the spiritual world is also unlimited, since everything there exists on the absolute plane. From this verse we can get a glimpse or a hint of the unlimited potency of the Supreme Lord. So the life of Brahma, which is very very long according to our calculation, that is just less than a second for the Supreme Lord. So in one breath of the Supreme Lord, innumerable Brahmas come out, innumerable universes happen in just one breath of the Supreme Lord Mahavishnu. So we can kind of just imagine like how vast the creation is, and like how powerful and how vast the Supreme Person, the Supreme Person's realm is basically. So the time, it has no control over the Supreme Person, and the Supreme Person is the personality of Godhead, is the controller of time. So in the spiritual world there is time, but it has no control, and so essentially the time is unlimited in the spiritual world. Number 39. कालोऽयं परमाण्वादिर्द्विपरार्धान्त ईश्वरः नैवेशितुं प्रभुर्भुम्ना ईश्वरो धाममानिनाम्. Eternal time is certainly the controller of different dimensions, from that of the atom up to the superdivisions of the duration of Brahma's life, but nevertheless it is controlled by the Supreme. Time can control only those who are body conscious, even up to the Satya Loka or the other higher planets of the universe. So the time factor, that is important in the material world, because in the material world, the living entities, they have a material body. So that's what he said here. The time can control only those who are body conscious or who have a material body. In the spiritual world, so the living entities, they are completely spiritual. So that's why the time has no effect on the spiritual world. It's always it is eternal. Next, number 14. विकारे सहितो युक्तेर्विशेषादिभिरावृतः आण्डकोशो बहिरयं पञ्चाशत्कोटिविस्तृतः. This phenomenal material world is expanded to a diameter of 4 billion miles as a combination of 8 material elements transformed into 16 further categories within and without, as follows. Purport. As explained before, the entire material world is a display of 16 diversities and 8 material elements. The analytical studies of the material world are the subject matter of Sankhya philosophy. The first 16 diversities are the 11 senses and 5 sense objects, and the 8 elements are the gross and subtle matter, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and ego. All these combined together are distributed throughout the entire universe, which extends diametrically to 4 billion miles. Besides this universe of our experience, there are innumerable other universes. Some of them are bigger than the present one, and all of them are clustered together under similar material elements as described below. Number 41. दशोत्तराधिके यत्र प्रविष्ट परमाणुवत् लक्ष्यतेऽन्तर्गताश्चान्ये कोटिशो ह्यण्डराशयः. The layers or elements covering the universes are each 10 times thicker than the one before, and all the universes clustered together appear like atoms in a huge combination. The coverings of the universes are also constituted of the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and each is 10 times thicker than the one before. The first covering of the universe is earth, and it is 10 times thicker than the universe itself. If the universe is 4 billion miles in size, then the size of the earthly covering of the universe is 4 billion times 10. The covering of water is 10 times greater than the earthly covering. The covering of fire is 10 times greater than the watery covering, and the covering of air is 10 times greater than that of the fire. The covering of ether is 10 times greater still than that of air, and so on. The universe within the coverings of matter appears to be like an atom in comparison to the coverings. And the number of universes is unknown even to those who can estimate the coverings of the universes. So from here, we can imagine like how big this material creation is. Just one universe, it's 4 billion miles in diameter, and then there is covering, and then like there are layers of these coverings, and each covering is 10 times that of the previous covering. So you can estimate like how big it extends up to. 42. Tad ahur aksharam brahma sarva karana karanam Vishnurdhama param sakshat purushasya mahatmanah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is therefore said to be the original cause of all causes. Thus, the spiritual abode of Vishnu is eternal without a doubt, and it is also the abode of Mahavishnu, the origin of all manifestations. Lord Mahavishnu, who is resting in Yoga Nidra on the causal ocean and creating innumerable universes by his breathing process, only temporarily appears in the Mahatattva for the temporary manifestation of the material worlds. He is a plenary portion of Lord Sri Krishna, and thus, although he is non different from Lord Krishna, his formal appearance in the material world as an incarnation is temporary. The original form of the personality of Godhead is actually the Swarupa or real form, and he eternally resides in the Vaikuntha world, Vishnu Loka. The word Mahatmanaha is used here to indicate Mahavishnu, and his real manifestation is Lord Krishna, who is called Parama, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, known as Govinda. His form is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and he is the original cause of all causes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Calculation of Time from the Atom. So only have like 2 minutes left. So before we start next chapter, maybe we can do it on Monday, so we can have some discussions. If anybody has anything to say. See something on the chat here. Okay, so Gopal Prabhu is asking, is there any Sarpa Loka or it is part of our Bhuloka? So Prabhu, so in the document that I was sharing in the beginning, so it is said that in one of these lower planetary systems, that's the Sarpa Loka. Think okay. Yeah, I forgot. Let me just bring it up again if you want to see that. Yeah, so in the lower planetary systems, we have these Rasatala and Patala. So one of them is called the Nagaloka, where like the snakes live. And let me see which one is that. Yeah, it's in the Patala where the serpent Basuki lives with his associates. And this is also known as Nagaloka. So according to this document. So that's the Loka of the snakes. Does that answer your question?
Okay, yes, Thank you, Prabhu.
So,
So is that the place when Arjuna went when during his pilgrimage?
uh,
When that Brahmana when he rescues the Brahmana and he goes on his own pilgrimage different places, and I think I don't know, maybe but his son Barbuvahana or someone, he is born from one such, and the other one is also, I think she came from Sarpaloka. I don't remember,
yes,
but
Prabhu. Yeah, I think you're talking about um, uh, so like Arjuna got married to one of the Nagakanyas, right?
yeah, yes, yeah,
The name
yes,
was
yes,
Ulupi. Yes, yes,
Ulupi.
Prabhu. Yes,
Okay,
yes. So he
so he
went
went
to
there. Okay,
yes, Prabhu.
thank you, Prabhu. One more question I have, Prabhu. Is so in not really relating this, but in Kali Yuga, our human beings are having 100 years. So what are the we know Dasratha lived for 60,000 years. So what are the other, what is the age in other yugas? Is there any mention somewhere?
And that's a good question, Prabhu. Yeah, so in the Kali Yuga, Prabhupada also mentions elsewhere that yeah, the duration of life is typically 100 years. So of course, I mean that's the like the upper limit. Not everyone lives for 100 years because of all the diseases and so on in the material world. But yeah, so the typical lifespan is 100 years in the Kali Yuga, and now in the other Yuga like Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Satya Yuga, the lifespan is much longer. I don't exactly remember. Probably maybe if somebody else knows what is the typical duration of life in other yugas, maybe you can tell. Yeah, I don't remember Prabhu, but it's certainly much larger compared to what we have in the Kali Yuga. So the Kali Yuga is the yuga where the lifespan is the shortest, and that's why in the Bhagavatam it is said like Alpayo. There's one verse in the Bhagavatam like Manda Bhagya Upadrita. So like we have the short lifespan, we're lazy, and then ignorant, and all the bad qualities. They're there in
Yes,
the Kali Yuga.
right.
So this is where the lifespan is the shortest. The other yugas it's much longer. Yes.
I was thinking it because Kali Yuga is the shortest. That's why we the lifespan of human beings is also short, and Dwapar Yuga is little long, double the Kali Yuga. So maybe is it 200? Is it 200, or is it proportionately some ratio? That's what I was thinking. But yeah,
I
maybe
don't
not.
I don't know that probably like exact number.
Okay.
No. So it's correct that in the other yogas the lives like the duration of the yoga itself is longer.
Longer.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know if there is a proportionality for the duration of life for the living entities in the other yogas.
Okay.
It is to multiply by 10. We move the upper yugas. So in
Okay.
Dwapar it is 1,000, Treta it is 10,000, and in Satyuga it is 1 lakh.
Oh.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Actually, in Treta Yuga, if you see Dashrath, King Dashrath lived for 60,000 years. When he had Rama, he was 60,000 years old. So we know
Right.
that in Treta Yuga, people lived to be in the tens thousands of years. But Rama did not live like Rama disappeared, I think 10,000 something, 11,000 years he ruled the kingdom. So there's a
Right.
mention of that. So based on that, we know some. But as Bhupal Prabhu mentioned, we don't know. I don't know exact the years. But in Satyuga, people lived for 100,000 years.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's just from the personalities who lived, how long they lived. That's the way there's some mention.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhus. Yes, that explains a lot. Thank you.
Okay, so there are two more questions in the chat from Bina Mataji. Can you explain pitas in text 26? So let me go to text 26. Mataji, just 1 second. Okay. In the creation during Brahma's day, the three planetary systems, Swarga, Matta, and Patal, are evolved, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of the fluid. So pitas he refers to the forefathers, Mataji, and so they have their own loka. And again, if I go back to the document, so it's mentioned what is the loka for these forefathers, the pitas. Let me just search for it. Um, so it doesn't say exactly. Yeah, but there is a loka called Pitru Loka. So I'm just trying to find out whether any of these 14 planetary systems mentioned, which is Pitru Loka. I don't see any of those. But maybe any other devotee knows, like which one of these 14 planetary systems is Pitru Loka? Yeah, so Mataji, yeah, I don't know which one of these the 14, but yeah. So Pitaj here refers to the forefathers, and they have their own loka. That's called the Pitru Loka. So that's where they go.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
After the death. Yes. So yeah, I guess so. So depending on the karma, maybe yeah. So some of them they're elevated to higher planets. Some of them they go down to lower planets. So yes. And that's why there's a mention of doing the pinda tarpan. So we have to do that. In the material world, usually one does that to elevate the condition of life for these forefathers. Like if they're suffering in the hellish planets due to their past karma, then by doing this pindadan offering, then they get some relief from that. Anybody else would like to add anything to that? Yeah, I don't know much details about this. Okay, and there's another question. Do you know of any sun festival that comes every 5 years? I don't know to answer to that, Mataji. Anybody else knows? Yeah, I think remember yesterday we read some festival that comes every 5 years. I can try to find that verse, but yeah, I don't know the details about like what exactly is that festival that comes every 5 years. Let's see.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yesterday, we were reading about sun and paying homage to sun god.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, so this verse, right? Verse number 15.
15 or 14?
15. It says, he thus moves in the firmament with great velocity, and therefore everyone should offer him respects once every 5 years with all ingredients of worship.
Yeah. Yes.
But I don't know the details of this, Mataji. Like what is exactly this worship to the sun god?
I was thinking of Kumbh Mela, but it looks like Kumbh Mela is celebrated every 3 years.
The Purna Kumbha is every 12 years, or the Kumbha is every 6 years, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that is different.
I just Google searched it. It says like every 3 years, it's celebrated between three places.
I don't know that matter. I had heard that the Purna Kumbha happens 12 and Ardha Kumbha every 6 years. Maybe there's another Kumbha also that happens every 3 years. Yeah, I don't know the details. And there are also different Kumbhas that happen, like one in Prayag, and then there is one Kumbha in the Ganga Sagar. So there are different places where this Kumbha Mela happens. So yeah, I don't know if it's related to this worship to the sun god.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. About the Pitraloka, I found some answer in the ISKCON website. And so Pitraloka is mentioned in, I think the later cantos it is mentioned. It is actually below the earthly planet. It's below the Garbhodaka ocean and Patal Loka. So that's what they say when we offer oblations to our forefathers, they can be elevated to the earthly planet. So going to the Pitraloka, it does not mean we are getting elevated. Actually, people who worship the forefathers, they get actually below the earthly planet. They go there. And That's what the oblations are recommended for forefathers. So they can at least come back to the earthly planet again. So.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, yes. Okay, so so the Pitraloka, so that's basically the hellish planets, right? Like, or maybe that's below even the hellish planets.
No, yeah, it doesn't say exactly, where it is, but it is below the earthly planet. So it's located between the Garbhodaka Ocean and Patal Loka. Where exactly? Because as you mentioned in the beginning, Patal Loka is lower planetary, all can be called Patal Loka, right? One planet is so Patal Loka, but then 7 planets also altogether can be called Patal Loka. So it says it's near. This is near where the hellish planets are located. And Pitraloka is lower than the earth according to the vertical layout given in the Puranas.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I just want to add one thing. Today in Lal Prabhu's class, he mentioned that Bali Maharaj got a planet for himself to rule, which was below the earthly planet. And he mentioned that not all the lower planets are like a hellish in the sense in quality or quality wise, it's not very bad.
Yes, Mataji. So for the Bali Maharaj, that was Suttala. So if you remember this, all the 7 lower planetary system, the Atala, Bittala, Suttala, the third one. The third one down from the earthly planet, Suttala. So that is the planet of Bali Maharaj. That's what he got. Yeah. So it's not true that all the 7 planets, that the planetary system that's lower, they are all like hellish planets. It's not true. So in fact, some of those planets are more opulent than the earthly planets.
Right.
That's also mentioned in the 5th canto. Yeah, so most of those planets are actually even more opulent and more luxurious compared to the earthly planets. So yeah, so the hellish planets, that's a particular planet. So yeah, as Mataji was telling about the Pitru Loka, so similarly, so there is this planet of the Yamaraj, so that's the hellish planet. That's the Naraka Loka. That's the hellish planet. So that's only one particular Loka, but not all of the lower ones. They are hellish. Yes, that's true.
Prabhu, so to add to that, so the lower planetary systems are mostly for, even though it's opulent, it can be opulent, it is for demons, right? Because the Bali Maharaj comes in the dynasty of demons, Asuras. And that's the reason he was given that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so you like this categorization is based on the level of consciousness. So usually the upper planetary systems, they are for those who are in the mode of goodness. Like starting from Brahma, who is in the mode of so he's almost in the mode of pure goodness. So it's like very close to Suddha Sattva. So that's the Satya Loka. And then when you come down, then come from goodness to passion. So where the earthly planets, the middle planetary systems, there people are predominantly in the mode of passion. And the lower ones, they're predominantly mode of ignorance. And that's the reason why, yeah, so they are the lower planetary systems. And the demons, by definition, demons are in the mode of ignorance. And that's why, so those are the residents for the demons.
This Vedic cosmology is so vast to understand also. There's also contradicting explanation. In some places says one thing and other place says other thing. Hard to understand.
Yeah, it's really mind-boggling. I mean, there's so many things, and this is all like kind of beyond our imagination. So we can't even fathom like what exactly is going on. We just have to rely on the scriptures, and whatever the Bhagavatam says, whatever the acharyas explain, we just have to rely on that, because we cannot put our intuition into any of this. We cannot even imagine how these things are arranged or how things look like, because we have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is this nice video that I think also Lal Prabhu mentioned in the morning. It's from the TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. If you just search on YouTube for TOVP, you'll see this nice video. So they're very nice graphic design, and they explain clearly this all 14 planetary systems. So in fact, that's what in TOVP they have now in the exhibition. They have this 14 planetary system. So next time we visit Mayapur, maybe we can go and see that. Then we might have a better understanding of how all these locals are arranged in the material universe.
And also, I just wanted to mention from yesterday's class and also from today's class, Prabhu, from today's reading, any place or any time they mention 3 worlds, even though there's 14 planetary system, any place they mention 3 worlds, that includes the Burloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. Those are the only 3 things. Because they say
Yes.
all the 3 worlds, every time when they say all the 3 worlds, right? When they say 3
Yeah.
worlds, those are the 3 lokas they mention, right?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, so that's in reference to like which worlds get annihilated during the partial pralaya. Like at the end of Brahma's each day, so only up to Swarga Loka they get inundated with this with the water, with the devastating water, and then the upper 4 Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, and Satya Loka, they remain intact. So that's why, so when we say usually the 3 worlds, it refers up to the Swarga Loka, because that's what gets annihilated the end of Brahma's day. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Uh, I was hearing a very nice lecture of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and he actually explained the way we are positioned in all these planets, and with the current situation we are living in. Just like to share that.
Yes,
Uh,
Prabhu.
so, right now we all are in the lockdown. So maybe most of us could have heard that lecture which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was narrating. So we all souls are in a lockdown state right now. We are working from home. Most of people are working from home, and we are so much in pain that we just want to get rid of this lockdown state, get so that we can go anywhere without any issue. We can do whatever we were doing earlier, like 2 years before. Now we just think twice to do the same activity this period of time. The same thing now we are realizing when we are in a lockdown state. But in all these 14 planets, and within these 14 planets, we are in a lockdown state since time immemorial. Sometime we do something good, we move up, then we come down again on the planet Earth. Then again we fall down into some of the Patal Loka or some other lokas based on our determination. So in all these 14 planets periphery, we are just in a lockdown state. And on top of that, we are in a lockdown state in this body, which is made up of 5 gross elements. The layer for which we heard today, each layer is 10 times thicker than the other layer. So this lockdown state is something which is with this Maharaji was trying to narrate, that we certainly need to realize that for us the only business is to get rid of this lockdown state. Just like right now we want to get rid of this lockdown state of this coronavirus. Similarly, eternally we wish to get out of this lockdown state of moving among the 14 planets and from this body within the periphery of all these 5 gross element layers. Uh, so the only thing that is mentioned in the Shastras, Maharaj, that was actually make it possible, is the devotional service and the ahetugiya pratyahara towards Krishna. That can make it possible to bring us out from this lockdown state of 14 plates. All this information from this Bhagavatam, which is written on this, for all this planetary knowledge and everything that is written over there, something that to realize us, to give us some kind of realization that we are in lockdown state already. There's nothing new. The only business we get rid of this lockdown state is to get surrendered to Krishna. And once we surrender to Krishna, then this entire periphery of lock that is there is just like a gokura. Gokura is like the foot impression of a calf. It doesn't bother to a devotee to get rid of this planet. So that is something where Maharaji was trying to indicate, and that gave me so much deep impact after hearing the lecture, that it is really very much important for us to think of that what exactly our position is right now at this very moment, all the in whatever state we are in. And we are just packed within this world, not sure when we get rid of this lockdown state, but still striving to get happiness in this world. But as you read today also, Prabhupada in one of the purport that it took 36,000 years to the torrential rain and next 36,000 years to heavy flood, total 72,000 years, which is a prerequisite for the main partial devastation. But we forgot everything about it. Right now, we don't remember even a single incident like that that could have happened, and we could have been part of that devastation at some point of time in the past. So, just like to share this, that I just recollect from this that for us it is something which is really important, is to stick to Krishna at whatever way we can.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. That's very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Gives us food for thought. Yeah, we should all strive to get out of this miserable condition. Okay, Prabhu. So sorry, I think it's quite late. So Ravi Prabhu, you are going to do the Damodarastakam?
Yes, Prabhu, will do.
Prabhu, you want to share your screen?
Yes, Prabhu, I think.
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानम् यशोदादियोरुकलाधवमानम् परामृष्टमत्यन्तो धृतगोप्या यशोदादियोरुकलाधवमानम् परामृष्टमत्यन्तो धृतगोप्या रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रयुग्मं व्रजन्तं कराम्भोजयुग्मेन शातन्तनेत्रम् रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रयुग्मं व्रजन्तं कराम्भोजयुग्मेन शातन्तनेत्रम् मुहुश्वासकम्पात्रिरेखान्तकण्ठ स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भक्तिभद्रम् मुहुश्वासकम्पात्रिरेखान्तकण्ठ स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भक्तिभद्रम् इति दृश्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् तदीशिताग्नेषु भक्तर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सताविति वन्दे तदीशिताग्नेषु भक्तर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सताविति वन्दे वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेशादपीह वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेशादपीह इदं देवपुरनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्य वीरस्तां मन्ये इदं देवपुरनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्य वीरस्तां मन्ये इदं ते मुकाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीलम् कृतं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरसस्य गोप्या
इदं ते मुकाम्बोजमत्यन्तनीले कृतं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरसस्य गोप्या
मुहुशुम्बितं बिम्बरत्नाधरं मे मनस्याविरास्तं मालं लक्ष्यलाभे
मुहुशुम्बितं बिम्बरत्नाधरं मे मनस्याविनाशानालं लक्ष्यलाभे
नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजलाभिमग्नम्
नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजलाभिमग्नम्
कृपादृष्टिवृष्यातिदिनं भतानो गृहाणेश मामग्नमिदक्षिदेशा
कृपादृष्टिवृष्याति दिनं गतानो कृपानिशमामग्नं यतिष्ठिदेशा
कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धमुत्रैव यद्वा त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिभाजौ कृतौ च
कुबेरात्मजो बद्धमुत्रैव यद्वा त्वया मोचितो भक्तिभाजकृतौ च
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वता मे प्रयच्छ नमो शीघ्रहो मे श्रीदामोदरेह
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वता मे प्रयच्छ नमो शीघ्रहो मे श्रीदामोदरेह
नमस्ते सुदाम्ने स्फुरतीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोधराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे
जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे
जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे
जय राधा दामोदर की
जय
To the Supreme Controller who possesses an internal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earring swing to and from, who manifests himself in Gokula, who stored the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of the storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances.
seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pool of ecstasy. To the devotee who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan in Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodara, my obeisance hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become radiant like bimba fruits to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarine vision.
O Damodar, in your form of baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kovera, Manigriva, and Nalkovera, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Jai Jai Shri Radha Damodar ki
Jai. So Hare Krishna, we'll end the call with Vaishnava pranams. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Assemble Bhaktavind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all for joining the call today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.